I was stationed at Corpus Christi for a while. My boss from Corpus Christi I was already gone to school, and I came back, and he was gone, but he was an amphib expert, and the Seabees had these big pontoons they put on the side of a ship, started to go in, and then they into a landing and launch them and build a pier for the Marines and other people bringing equipment. Those are called amphibs, and he sent me a postcard. It's come over and if the action's really good, let me know, because he was pretty high up. He could get me over there. And I said, "Are you an idiot? I just got back from sea, being gone away for 6 months at a time, which these poor guys that go into Iraq and go back and back and back. I went out on 2.5 6-month tours, and that's enough. In those days, of course, we didn't have Skype. We didn't have all this electronic stuff. It was all snail mail, and really hard on the families. Really bad. Well, it was bad enough on the guys, but it was bad on the families as well, especially kids. So I didn't volunteer to go to Korea. I was in Korea. I mean, it was the reason they had us mobilized. All of a sudden, I was happily down in Corpus Christi on Public Works, and they send a telegram to mobilize, get to Norfolk, Virginia, and it was within 10 days. I had a family and furniture and all this stuff. And within 10 days, they commissioned this new battalion, Mobile Construction Battalion. So I drove her up to Detroit, left her, flew down to Norfolk, and the Navy stored our stuff. And she was my daughter was only one round son. At that time, we had one child. And she went up found a little apartment near her sister in Port Huron and stayed there during the time I was out. But 10 days isn't much to break up a house and get to a new place. I'm still listed as a plank owner. There are only about six guys. It's the original commissioning group is what a plank owner is. There are plank owners on ships, too. Like if you were in the Missouri or whatever.
Right.
The original. Yeah, or the original crew. Yeah, that's what a plank owner was. Yeah, there you are. Let's see, that's not much to do with North Street.
Okay.
Although I did learn that Hornby is a Stevie, that's news.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'll tell you another incident if you want one more. Living at 124 Front.
Yeah.
On the one side is a narrow passageway between two houses with a big wooden fence, 5 feet high, blocking the entrance to it. And there are 3 bedrooms, all facing that side. And in the middle one, I was reading or something in bed, and all of a sudden our cat started to act really strangely. And I heard something out there. So I got dressed, went out the front door, which is right here, and here this guy comes up between the houses. Between the house on this side. And I said, "What are you doing back there?" He says, "Well, I didn't know where I was or something." I said, "Well, you're looking in windows." He said, "What? No. I said, "Look it, I'm going to call the police. Who are you?" And the guy, Army Kuroda's son, was in the military. He came down, he's about twice as big as I was, and I wasn't little. And he backs me up, and the guy gives me a name and an address. He was window peeping on I had a daughter, my wife. And he was a window peeper. He gave me a name and an address. So I looked it up the next morning, no such thing. And about 3 days later, I think maybe it was Werner, somebody up there, it was on North Ferry, had an open house, or a bunch of people coming in. And the guy ahead of me with a woman was this guy. And he introduced, when we were being introduced, I said, well, that wasn't the name you gave me last night. And he left. He left it instantly, and that was it. It turned out I knew who his father was a really nice guy and lived in Niskuna. But, you know, that could happen. Weirdo things.
That's not the name of the game.
Yeah, and so much goes on. Well, I'm sure that people over on Washington Avenue can give you some more information.
You've already told us some. You've told me some things that I have never heard before already.
Oh yeah, well, it's kind of unique. Everybody's got their own unique things.
You know what we didn't do sometimes at the beginning of the interview, we had people say their name and.
Yes, we didn't do that because we never started. I was going to have them do it at the end. Yeah.
KKK?
Oh, we sometimes when we start the interviews, we'll have the person just, introduce yourself, say your name, how long you've been in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of an introduction, and we sort of didn't.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Okay, well.
That,
Yeah. Well, I just turned 90. That's a landmark. That'll tell you everything. If you want to know anything about algae bloom in Lake Erie, I'll tell you about that too. In my bio of when I graduated from the Naval Academy, I said something about my interest in current events. And so in my 40th anniversary, I said, still a current events news freak. Because that's, I spend most of my time reading, well, listening to the news, of course, but also reading the Times. Yeah. It's a real boon. I hope they keep it going.
Were you heavily, did you get involved a lot in city politics?
Well, I got only not really in city politics. GE was inspiring people to vote one year, and I handed out nail files or something, get out the vote, but that was about it.
You weren't handing out shots of whiskey. Oh.
No. No, I never tried to get. Well, for one thing, I was on the road quite, maybe 10 or 12 trips. Well, aside of that, part of that was that it was really neat. Some of these ran 2 or 3 days, so I could take Dorothy along, and she would stay in the hotel and she loves Boston, going all over Boston, and it was very low cost for me, and she enjoyed it and got a chance to look around, especially later in the 80s there when she wasn't teaching anymore. Yeah. She was as an art teacher, she had 3 schools she had to teach. She was in elementary art. She went to 3 different schools during the week.
What school would kids who down here, where did they go? Where would their elementary school be now?
I don't know.
What, the one here? I don't think there are enough kids to go here.
No, I'm just
Where
trying
do
to
they
think of
go?
where do kids go now?
Oh, I don't know. I have no
I don't
idea.
even know.
There are a lot of them around. It's still over on
Over by, up on the north side.
either that or up in Goose Hill or someplace like that.
Yeah, there's a school up on the north side still, I think, on down on Van Branken. Well, yeah, Goose
Yeah,
Hill, you're right.
yeah,
I guess, yeah, you're that way, I'm going this way. I'm trying to figure out
Yeah, that's north. That's the
not-
reason North Street goes that way. I finally doped that out. I'm happy. If you got enough info. If you need any questions, just give me a call.
Give you a call. Would you mind doing, since we didn't do an introduction in the end, just sort of saying your name and...
Oh, right now?
Yeah, because
Sure, of course.
And
Sure.
put that back to the beginning, you know, since we forgot
All
to.
right,
ask,
sure.
Just introduce yourself and how long you've been in the stockade.
Okay.
You know, and then we'll just put that at the beginning.
Okay. Ready to go?
Ready to go. Yep.
My name is Neff Dietrich, Jr. Brought up in the northwestern Ohio in Detroit. Joined General Electric in 1957 after being in the overseas division in Procter & Gamble. Came up to Schenectady from Cincinnati, Ohio in 1960. Moved to Stockade in 1964. Bought the house and refurbished it in 1967. Lived there ever since.
The address.
I graduated from the Naval Academy, Rensselaer Polytechnic, and an MBA from Xavier University in Cincinnati, and went to evening classes at Union College for about 9 credits, mainly in personnel. So that's about the education. I studied all night.
And the house is number 4.
Oh, this is number 4 North Street, and next to a vacant lot that's very well maintained. Which I didn't mention the flowers, the daylilies that are out there, planted by Neff. There used to be a mailbox on the corner there, and I planted them around that, and it's gone, but the flowers live on.
Take some pictures.
So, yeah. And North Street's just been repaved, which is it took them about 6 weeks to do it. It was very aggravating, but it's done. It's nice now. Thank you very much. Whatever.
Yeah, what's